Okay, so I'm gonna go over why Vendetta just feels bad to play. We found the culprit. The culprit was that her range was too long, and that's why she was so dominant. That was mainly her problem, but we nerfed so many other things along the way that she's pretty much unplayable. Like, there's a chance that I can get to Grandmaster with her. I've gotten to GM2 with her so far, and I'm gonna say it's been rough, and I feel like a lot of it isn't really even up to me. I feel like I really have to have a solid team that can actually capitalize on everything that I'm doing, because I can only do so much as a melee character. All I can really do is deny space. I can deny off angles. If I'm playing main, I can deny the tank from pushing up, so I can do a lot of damage onto the tank if I'm playing main. But me going in for a dive is very risky, because I put myself into a situation that I can be punished very easily, especially since my cooldowns are long. It's not like Doomfist where my punch is every 4 seconds and my slam is every 6.5 seconds. No, my shortest cooldown is 7 seconds, and then my longest cooldown is 10 seconds. 10-second cooldown. So I don't really have the liberty of being able to bait out cooldowns and then go in on next cycle, because by the time I have my shift ability, in another 4 seconds Ana's gonna have another anti or another sleep, or it's just not enough to actually go out and bait cooldowns. And I don't have the luxury of having 550 HP like a Doom does, or 650, I don't know how much he does, probably 550. And on top of that, he gets overhealth every time he does damage with abilities. And also he has a block that isn't on a resource, it's just infinite for a certain amount of time. So if I take a load of damage, like if I take a Cassidy nade and a right click, well, my shield is gone and I'm going to take a couple shots to the body and I'm right. So it's just not very fun playing this character once you get to higher ranks, because you're just easily punishable, and you really rely on a good team to actually capitalize on what you're doing. Like if I'm keeping enemies off of the off angle because I'm just basically not allowing them to take it, okay, but I need my team to actually play on the actual main angle where they're playing basically a 4v4 and they have to win that 4v4. Or if I'm holding 2 people in the back, or if I'm going for a flank and I'm doing a lot of damage to the enemies in the back, I don't know what's up with the FPS this patch, but yeah, I noticed a lot of people have been having FPS problems, and so have I. But if I'm going on the flank and I see that there's an enemy that I can, finish off with my projected edge, okay, so now I'm keeping pressure on them. And what I'm forcing them to do is I'm forcing them to move backwards and separate away from their tank and their front line. And I'm doing one of either that, or I'm forcing them to go closer to their front line, which in effect is going to get them killed because my team can sweep and clean them up. But the thing is that I genuinely need a team to actually carry me, is essentially what it comes down to. Because if the team starts catching on that that's what I'm doing and I'm going for the backline, then what ends up happening is I'm going to have somebody switching to Cassidy, and the Cassidy is going to come to the off angle and he's going to play me on the off angle. And now it's just a 4v4. Because as long as I don't get greedy, I can 1v1 this Cassidy all day, right? Like, he will not peek this corner, and I won't peek him, and we're just kind of like a standstill. And he knows that the second that he turns away, I'll just finish him off, right? Like, it's possible for me to just kill him very quickly. So he has to basically just be on Vendetta duty, and he has to basically just pay attention to me all game. Because if not, I'm gonna, I'm just gonna be a big menace onto their backline. So he needs to be on me. He needs to be on Vendetta duty. And that's essentially what it comes down to. In the end, the formula goes down to the same thing every time. It's a 4v4. And sometimes you can mix it up and then you go back to main and then blah blah blah. And then, then you just do a lot of damage to the tank. And let's get into, we talked about how the formula that I found somewhat works as Vendetta. I still feel like you are reliant on your team to carry you. which kind of sucks because even if I have a really good formula, there's only so much I can do because of how clunky her kit is. And by clunky, I mean everything is just slow. I don't know if you saw, but I was over here and I tried to do a 180 dash, but because I turned too fast, I actually dashed into the wall. I'm gonna post some clips of that, and that is a big issue in her kit, and it's very clunky. Because if you do a 180 dash with a Genji, you will dash in that direction. But if you do a 180 dash with Vendetta, you will not go in that direction. You will go in the direction that your character model is looking at. Do you see that? That's what I'm talking about. And if I do it fast enough, so for instance, if I do a 180, let's say for instance that was in the span of half a second. I did that 180 in the span of half a second. My character model is lagging behind, so if I move like this in that half a second, well, my character model is actually moving like this, and it's lagging behind. So I need to wait like a good half second before I actually dash. So if I actually don't want to dash into the wall over there like I did, or dash in that direction, or dash in that direction, then I have to give it a few milliseconds in order to actually go in that direction. But yeah. Did you see that? I completely looked in this direction even, but for some reason it kept me in this direction. And that is one problem that really feels terrible with her kit, because if, for instance, I'm trying to dodge a Rhyme Shatter, or if I'm trying to dodge a Doomfist Punch, or if I'm trying, I'm just trying to dodge certain things like a sleep, well, I'm actually not going in the direction that I want to. Let's say, for instance, there's an Ana right in front of me, and I want to look to this direction, so that way if she sleeps me, I can actually dodge that sleep by going in a different direction rather than straight at her. But if I do it too fast, do you see how I'm still going straight at her? So I'm going to do it again. Do you see that? You see how I went straight at him? So that's the problem. That is a big problem with this character, and I find myself dying a lot to that. And not only dying because of it's not going in the direction that I want it, but also like if I wanted to get through here, well, the way that this shift ability works is not like Brig Bash, where Brig Bash, I'll just bash and I'll go through it until the end of the bash. The way that this mobility ability works is I will not go through it and end a certain distance after it, wherever the Brig Bash ends. I will actually stop on that object. So if I go like this, boom, I have stopped on this object and now I'm stuck here. So if, for instance, let's say I wanted to I was looking at this direction and I turned this way really quickly because I wanted to dodge something, I might get stuck on this right here and not go through here. So if I were to do something like this, do you see that? That's exactly what happens to me a lot of the time because the character model and the camera are not in sync. So it is a big problem. The E ability, I think it just needs to be executed like a little bit faster, maybe even just half a second faster. Like, it takes so long. By the time, like, if you're playing in Masters and above, by the time you actually go for this, like, it is so obvious what's coming that you're just gonna get poked out too fast. Like, you just get poked out. And you can do certain things like you would do with Winston, which is don't use your mobility ability to engage, wait for your cycle, and start next fight with just regular attacks, right? And you can totally do that. But the problem with the disengage is two things. Number one, the E takes too long to actually get out again. So if, for instance, I engaged and I wanted to bait out Mizuki chain, well, it just takes too long to actually do that and you're just going to get stuck. And that's your more reliable mobility ability for two reasons. Number one, it's on a shorter cooldown. It's only 7 seconds as opposed to 10. And number two, the camera bug that the shift ability that I just showed you. So if I wanted to dodge Mizuki chain and I wanted to go into the wall, like, yeah, it can work, but I wanted to go in this direction. I didn't want to go in this direction, and it pushed me in this direction because my character model was lagging behind and I wasn't actually going in that direction. So that's the problem, is I don't really have a reliable mobility tool. Both of them are unreliable. One of them is going in a direction that I don't want it to go, and the other one just takes too long to execute. So I don't have any reliable disengage. It's just unreliable. And So the final thing that I think that we could do with her kit that actually would make it a lot better is her ultimate. You could do 3 things, okay? But I think that there would be one good solution. And that solution is increasing the damage of her overhead strike from 120 to 125. That would do 2 things. That would allow 2 overheads to kill a squishy. And number 2, if we rework the ultimate to be every level is equivalent to 1 overhead strike, then 2 stacks of overhead strike will kill a squishy at 250 HP. So let's say, for instance, there's an Ash, 250 HP. If I go like this,
Arriva la punizione!
instead of it doing 200 damage like it just did, it would do 250 damage because we reworked the ultimate to be equivalent to an overhead strike per stack. So if I get to 3 stacks, it will be equivalent to 3 overhead strikes. But as it stands right now, the ultimate every stack doubles in damage. The first stack does 100 damage, the second stack does 200 damage, the third stack does 400 damage. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't need 400 damage to kill a squishy. I don't need to get to 3 charges in order to kill a squishy. I would much prefer that it would go by every stack is equivalent to an overhead strike, and the first stack will be 125, the second stack will be 250, and the third stack will be 375. I don't need 400 damage. I could lose 25 damage and just have each stack being equivalent to an overhead strike, and that would be fine for me because that would allow me to 2-stack kill a squishy. Because let's be honest, there's not much you can do with this ult proactively. The majority of the time that you use this ult, it's more to use it defensively. Like let's say for instance that there's a cart right here, right over here, and they're pushing up and I'm just hiding behind a corner. Now I'm just gonna pop my ult and just stop anybody from touching the point because we're gonna go into overtime and I have to force them to walk onto point. So basically you just have a Zarya or Sigma or whatever other tank, you name it. I'm just going to pop ult.
Arriva la punizione!
And I'm going to basically just demolish their health bar and do 400 damage to them. That is the only way that you can actually use this ult. It can only be used as a zoning ult. I would prefer to use it more proactively. Yes, is there utility in using it as a zoning ult? 100% there is. But I would prefer to use it more proactively. Like for instance, if I wanted to instantly kill a squishy, for instance I jump onto an Ashe, or let's say an Ana, or a Brig, or whatever it may be, something that I can do is I can go like, I just go like this, and boom. Just like that, that guy's at 0 HP, because I just did 2 overhead strikes onto him. So there's really only one case scenario where it actually would be beneficial to do it, and that's if they're going into overtime. So besides that, like, there's no real good time to actually like use your ult. Just to recap, what I would do to change it, I would rework the shift ability to actually go where I'm aiming, just like Doomfist Punch, just like Brigitte Bash, just like Genji Blade, or Genji Dash. I would make it just like those and not lag behind. That's 1. Number 2, I'd reduce the cooldown of it from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, because unlike Doom, who could just go in and constantly bait out cooldowns, Vendetta, her cooldown cycle is so long that I just can't even actually play the game. I spend most of my time engaging and disengaging, and the rest of the time I'm just basically just waiting for an opportunity. Unfortunately, unless my team makes an opportunity, I can't really do that on my own because I just die. I get poked out because this takes too long, and if I get too risky and I put myself in a bad situation and I want to react, oh, I can't. Like literally, I just flicked my mouse too much. I went this way, but as you saw, I still went in this direction, okay? And that's just because it's just a terrible ability. So yeah, fix the shift ability, make the E ability faster, make the ultimate do overhead swing damage, and buff the overhead swing damage to 125, so that way I can actually kill a squishy at you know, 2 stacks instead of having to get 400 damage in order to kill a squishy. Like, that's just kind of ridiculous. That's pretty much it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully the devs will see this.